And it's time to get tied on. If that intro won't get you pumped up, I don't think anything will. We're off and running Saturday afternoon in South Florida. Sun is out, a warm one in Hallandale Beach. Acacia Courtney, Jason Blute alongside. How are you today on this warm and sunny Saturday?
It is warm. It's only getting warmer. Summer has arrived in South Florida, and I remember looking back on some of the days last summer. It does get heated up, but it's beautiful. It's sunny. It's the place to be. So no complaining about that for sure. When I just think about all of that snow of my childhood,
and even rain up throughout the Northeast. We are fast and firm down here at Gulfstream Park. 11 races on the card, and definitely a relaxed, kind of classy but beachy vibe here at Gulfstream Park, which is the beauty of this place. As we settle in, first post, approximately 1:15, we tend to orders, I should say, of business at the top of the show. That's usually our daily rundown, and let's get right into it as far as Beat the Expert. We'll use expert loosely because we've taken a beating over the last few weeks, and 3 more beautiful GP Gulfstream polos are going out in the mail to 3 winners.
Yes, congratulations, Andres, Daniel, and Teresa. I didn't do so well yesterday. I was off the dock early. I had a winner in the first race, so I was excited about how things were going. But a couple of tough beats in there, and I think I had just 2 or 3 winners. So congratulations to you guys. We'll be playing every Friday, as always. I think Ron is up next week. Always a fun contest to be part of, so thanks for playing.
A Saturday morning rite of passage here on Gulfstream today, talking about Friday's Beat the Expert winners.
Humble.
Indeed it does. Hey, we're lucky fans. We're happy to be sitting here with all of you, of course, and you can get involved over on our Facebook Gulfstream Park page. Give us a follow. Twitter as well. We're all over the interwebs and social media. Now, as far as the holiday weekend, and a happy and safe Memorial Day weekend to everybody out there, we're just getting underway at Gulfstream. Indeed, a special, rare Monday live racing program. This coming Monday, May 29th, we run 11 tomorrow, and 11 on Monday.
Yep, 1:15 is the first post on Monday. Lots of great specials on Monday as well that you can take part of. Barbecue buffet at 10 Palms, just $29 for that. $2 for burgers, hot dogs, chip soda, and water. So some good deals to be a part of here on Memorial Day. We'll be here. Don't forget that following Wednesday, we will be dark for live racing and pick it back up on Thursday. But looking forward to seeing everybody here Monday.
Yep, the magic number 33 races between now and Monday's nightcap. So plenty of opportunity to make some money and have a good time. And some big chunky size fields pretty much rule the roost throughout today's card. In fact, a fun day that gets underway with race number 1 at around 1:15 and that dollar rolling super high 5 carryover. And that seemed to be the popular phrase yesterday. Saw some big prices in a number of the races on the program. And we will have the carryover 4,500 and change in the kitty waiting for you in race 1 with the super high 5. That'll coincide with the opening leg of Saturday's early 50-cent pick 5. And lo and behold, 6 out of 6 in yesterday's Rainbow 6 paid a little over $13,000. Our good buddy Ron Nicoletti took down the consolation of $30 and change.
He got knocked out in the last leg. I mean, Ron was
Poor
alive.
Ron.
We were all rooting for him. Excellent job picking Ron yesterday, but great carryover coming into today. I'll be anxious to see his ticket. I'll take a stab at it this morning as well. $385,000 plus in that carryover.
And then a late pick 5 gets underway on this 11 race card. In the 7th, I'll have the early pick 5 and late pick 5 plays coming your way. We'll try to take it down today. And speaking of that early pick 5 that starts with race number 1, I would imagine most people playing will be singling in race number 2. The big favorite in Al Coors. Todd Pletcher's got a busy afternoon. He's got a few live horses late here in May at Gulfstream Park. We're happy about Todd's presence, and I am going to single on a $36 play, the number 3 Alcor in race number 2. It's a 3-bagger in the first for me. The 3 they are going to, I think, by post bet the most money on, and Dr. J-Dub, J to the Croft, and the outside run of the 8 Bluegrass Luck. Moving on to the 3rd, we'll use 3, the 2 5-year-old mares who were familiar foes, Dancing Wind and Artie's Bourbon Girl, and man, oh man, Gerald Bennett, who had 2 winners yesterday, has Pink Mama in Raging 4. form. Moving on to the 4th, that's where I want the coverage. I'm using 4 in there. I think I have the right 4 in the 3, 5, 6, and 8, and hopefully we get live to race number 5, which if you wanted to even trim that $36 play down further, I might even single the number 2 Rory, who I think is the best horse in that race. Keisha and I will talk about it, beginning right now, in fact, with the 1st, and we start the card with a turf sprint on the firm grass at 5 furlongs, 3 and up in this optional starter allowance claiming race, and we do kick off the card with a scratch of a couple of horses, the MTO Blings Express, the 2 Lionheart Legend. And I think this race is best summed up, Acacia, as horses with back class in Dr. J-Dub and J to the Croft. But you've got to, even with their back class, and it's very evident looking at their resumes, you've got to decide for yourself what current form you think they're in.
You certainly do. And Dr. J-Dub, he's going back to the turf, sprinting on the turf, that rail post position. He's got to send and run away from the rest of the field. That's his best bet to get the win today. But unfortunately, since he won the Grade 3 Turf Monster back in September, he hasn't had a win since, and he's not been running against the same caliber of competition, of course, that he faced in graded stakes. So that is my biggest concern with him. Jenna Antonucci, a win on yesterday's card for sure. This horse has the class. He's a 7-year-old gelding that's easy to root for. I just do kind of wonder if he is going to be able to recapture that form.
I'm hoping with the drop, because I do think, like you so appropriately said, he's been running against better, and he is a better turf sprinter. I'm going to take him with Tyler Gaffalione, your leading rider. Is coming out of yet another multiple winning card. In fact, a riding double on the Friday program for Tyler G. Sitting at 59 wins. He may, and we'll see, we'll certainly get your pre-race examination here in the walking ring with the 3 J to the Croft. He might just have a real rival in the form of a 6-year-old gelding, an announced gelding today for trainer Steve Caceres on the changes in J to the Croft, who's got some solid races on his resume going back, but going back is sort of the operative phrase where you're dealing with the runner who hasn't run in 694 days, and he is a horse that's won in New York in the past, including mid-May of 15 at Belmont Park. We'll look at that race via the spotlight, and keep in mind, this was so long ago. May 14, 2015, just keep in mind American Pharaoh was readying himself for the Preakness.
Yeah, it's a good way to put it and put it in context, if you will. Now, this one, he's coming off of that big layoff. He certainly has the backlash, just looking at his Spire speed figures as well. The level of competition that he was facing, you see the number 8 finishing strongly to hold on in there. He's had a sharp work tab coming back too. It's been such a long time since he's been to the racetrack, and with this barn just narrowing it to Gulfstream, a big layoff like this is just not something they really do here in Florida. 0 for 3 in the past 5 years after a 180-plus day layoff, just looking at Gulfstream. But he's certainly got the pedigree. He's by Curlin out of a multiple Grade 1 placed mare. He has that back class. So if he comes back running today, he certainly could be a danger.
And that's the big if. Now, if J to the Croft needs one off the bench, and you're right about Dr. J-Dub, where he is just kind of on a slow but steady decline, I think you've got the right horse in the 8 Bluegrass Luck, who's coming out of a very good effort. Got a wonderful ride from Tyler Gaffalione last time out. Fell ahead short of catching the 5 horse in this race, Awesome My Way.
He did, and I actually thought that, looking back at that race a couple times, I thought Bluegrass Luck might have actually run a little bit better race than Awesome My Way, even though Awesome My Way did get the win. It was just by a head, but Bluegrass Luck a little bit slow out of the gate, perhaps hopped a little bit, but he was last early, and he was actually being pushed wider by Tiggertown in the stretch, so he was a little bit wider as he was trying to close. So I thought it was a big performance for his very first turf start. He could be one moving in the right direction while maybe some others are going the wrong way.
Always like starting a day here at Gulfstream with the turf race and a good crew in the first. Now let's move on to the main track as we go way down the backstretch, 1 mile the distance, and they'll start way up the backside on that chute as we have a group of 3 and up. $42,000 maiden special weight runners, and white bridles will be a popular commodity here in the paddock and walking ring, as you've got a couple of former students of D. Wayne Lucas University and 2 longtime friends in Todd Pletcher and George Weaver, who each send out a 3-year-old colt by Bodemeister in the 3 Alcor and the 4 Cheechmeister. Now, in the case of Alcor, this horse I don't think will be anywhere near the 7-5 on the morning line, you would think. Clear-cut chalk on the line, but more likely in the 1 to 2-ish territory off a good debut where he nearly got the mile.
I think so. I think that he's definitely a worthy single in those multi-race sequences. And as Gabby and I used to say through the winter, and Todd Pletcher we trust when you're putting together
and let's roll
those multis.
let's roll that first start for Alcor.
There you go. You've got that win. That second place finish. Command Post had the experience in that race, I think.
Yeah, it was a 9-5 favorite, in fact, in the hot pink silks there of the West, and was up on the engine and basically warded up with Alcor from the 3/8 Paul home. And you see a horse a little bit green to the outside, and the Al Shakab silks on that inside lead shifted back over beneath Edgar Zayas. You've got Tyler Gaffalione taking the call today. And again, a mile is just such a demanding, tough distance to win at first time out. You would think your typical traditional Todd Pletcher starter, you'll get an even better Alcor today at a very short price. In fact, a $9 double right now with Dr. J-Dub with about 50 minutes out from race number 1. If Alcor, for whatever reason, doesn't show up, is the 7, Mr. Attila, the main danger?
It could be, and he's kind of been moving in the right direction. I think both him and Fort Liberty do have their upsides, but they also have their questions. Now, Mr. Attila, last time out, he was a distant second. He was beaten about more than 5 lengths that day. Getting out of the gate seems to be a little bit of trouble for him looking back at his last couple of races, but he's nicely bred by Go Sapper. He's kin to Uncle Lino. And Fort Liberty came off of the layoff last time for Ralph Nixon. I thought he ran a huge race, but that was against state-bred competition only.
Yep, no doubt. Opens here with the outside post and the 7, Mr. Attila. On to race number 3, we'll stay on the main. We'll cut back to 6 furlongs with this 3-and-up filly and mare, $8,000 optional claimer. We go with a field of 9 and a good field at that. Some familiar foes. I think that's one of the biggest layers and certainly plot lines in this upcoming third, where you've got a couple of real battle-hardened 5-year-old mares in the 3 Dancing Wind and the 4 Artie's Bourbon Girl, who know each other quite well. And then you combine the presence of the Gerald Bennett trained Pink Mama, who's been white hot. She's looking for 5 consecutive wins, and you've got yourself an intriguing matchup in race number 3. Now, in the case of Dancing Wind and Artie's Bourbon Girl, why don't we backtrack to April 13th, a fast track that afternoon. Who do you think ran the better race? Because, of course, we remember that Dancing Wind had some trouble there nearing the wire.
She did, so keep an eye on the number 4, Dancing Wind. She was bumped up to second through disqualification. She came back with an explosive victory on the sloppy track last time, and I really think that she does kind of outclass the field. And here you'll get to see some of the trouble that she gets in when she just gets sandwiched between in there. I did think perhaps it was a little bit of a stronger finish from Artie's Bourbon Girl, but I did think that Dancing Wind had some excuses in there, and I think again that she outclasses this group.
Now, she drilled a field most recently in the slop, and you like Dancing Wind. I'm wondering, and we can look at a few different little nuggets here with Artie's Bourbon Girl. I mean, she is a likable 5-time winner from 25 starts. Could play out with Tyler Gaffalione as the quickest in here, and I think maybe the icing on the cake as far as her turning the tables on Dancing Wind today, moving from that sloppy track where she just didn't fire to the fast footing that she'll get today at Gulfstream Park.
It certainly could, and as you said, this is a group full of really hard-knocking mares. This horse is 5 for 19 on a fast main track. Now, I think that she is the speed and need the lead type, excuse me. I think for her to be most effective, I've always thought she has to go out to the front. And I kind of think that that's what Pink Mama will do too if she does end up sending, if not to the outside. Cowtown Spirit has some speed as well, and Explosive Candy even to the inside. So I did think as well that Dancing Wind could maybe sit just behind them. But talking about Pink Mama, as you said, she is looking for that 5th win in a row. It's really amazing. I remember seeing her running here at Gulfstream last summer. She's had 2 wins locally here, as you mentioned. Gerald Bennett, this horse is now in his barn, but she's familiar with this track.
She is, and that's a good thing. I mean, first time out off the van at Gulfstream, not an easy thing to pull off, just getting acclimated. You could look at this former Northerner, getting used to the surroundings and the heat here in late May down in Miami, but Pink Mama knows her way around, already has a lay of the land, and impressed with Gerald Bennett, who had the training double here yesterday. 73-year-old native of Nova Scotia has got a big string coming out of his third Tampa Bay Downs leading training title. Now moving on to the fourth, and again the third race, a solid one on the dirt. We'll switch and volley back over to the grass for Saturday's third, a 3-and-up $10,000 claimer. Tyler Gaffleone and his agent Matt Musicar. I mean, obviously Matt is a jockey agent's agent. He's near the top of his profession, and you've got a young rider from Davie, Florida, who's just in the zone. And as a horse player, I appreciate the preparation that Tyler puts in. He clearly does his homework. And my question to you is, what do you think of his horse here, the 8 Turncoat, as this horse, I think, is the sort of nucleus of the race, simply because he is just getting his claiming price basically cut in half.
Well, that you just said it right there. He's taking such a significant drop in class in here, and I did think that that really would be the key. He's had a sharp work over the main track here at Gulfstream since his most recent start. And what I like is that he shipped in from the fairgrounds for Keith Bourgeois. He had the race last time out over the turf course against much tougher competition. Now he takes that drop in class, and I think it's kind of a key of, we've been talking about how shippers transfer their form. Then he said, okay, well, we placed him here, that didn't work, so let's put him in a level where he can be successful. And I think that that's really the key to it. And as you were also mentioning, he's gotten acclimated now to his surroundings, to the area here at Gulfstream. So he will be the top pick for me, and he comes out of a very, very strong race. Mystic Sky is a really reputable runner, and Favorite Air, the second place finisher, came back to win with an 86 Buyer speed figure.
Very good point there. I have quickly learned that 25K optional claiming race with the non-winners of one, that is a tough condition on the turf here and the main at Gulfstream Park. Now, in the case of trainer Steve Caceres, who we're big fans of, and he has the returning Jada the Croft, who's currently 4-1 in the betting for today's first race, he'll run the 3 East Rock, and taking the optimistic view is, well, if this was a horse who was basically off from last year's Belmont Stakes Day or Belmont Stakes Week on June 5th, 2016, through the end of April 2017, and just getting that tightener under his belt, going 5 furlongs here, off the layoff, you're going to get a horse who's just going to be that much better, fitter. And he's going to need to be, but I like that second off the layoff move stretching out.
I do as well, and I didn't really like him at the 5 furlongs, but it looked like he needed the race, and looking at him physically, thought that he might need one under his belt, so intrigued to see how he looks today. And I think on the stretch out as well, he'll get back to that speed that he used to show before the layoff, which really could be key for him with that nice inside post.
Yeah, and you get a feeling for Awesome My Way and Bluegrass Luck, who finished in front of him last time out on April 28th, with those 2 horses returning in today's first at around 1:15. Back on the turf for race number 5, a $10,000 claiming race, 1 mile and a 16th. This one for 3 and up, a purse of $16,000, and another sort of key rematch in today's early pick 5 as we move closer and closer to the big Rainbow 6 today at Gulfstream Park. We have the gals on the dirt in race number 3. We'll bring on the Colts and Geldings here in the 5th, and I'm mainly talking about Rory and Mr. Sam, who, in my opinion, both got excellent rides most recently on May 3rd. Gaultier, who's been hot to the touch and has won his last couple of starts, beat both Rory and Mr. Sam, and they basically were following one another. They both angled out. What'd you think of the effort from both Rory and Mr. Sam on May 3rd?
Well, I'm in agreement with you that I think Rory is perhaps the strongest horse in here. You can see him wide last time out, just a little bit to his inside as Mr. Sam, and there was no catching Gaultier that day. He came back to win again. He got a 75 Buyer speed figure. I did think it was the better closing energy from Rory, and now once the spotlight ends, we'll show a stat on trainer Angel Rodriguez. Often you look at him just on the dirt, but I wanted to show this on the turf because in the money last time out, mid-level claiming, specifically on the turf, very strong numbers of 26% win, positive ROI of 214. So now this one, I think, third off the claim, should be able to move forward.
Well, those horses, to me, in that sample, basically hold their form, and you don't have any horses who are dropping or taking those precipitous drops if they're returning in mid-level claiming conditions. I like Rory, and again, if you wanted to even trim down in the pick 5 today, the early pick 5, I just think he's a better horse than Mr. Sam. It could certainly have him as an A and a single for another 50 cents or even $1. So that's the first 5. We've got a few more, including the final 6 to talk about. Acacia's Rainbow 6. It's a Saturday. They go hand in hand. We'll have it for you after this quick timeout.
At ExpressBet, we celebrate the champions that make horse racing great. That's why we provide more ways to bet from more places than ever. We've built an entire family of brands to give players more of the rewards they deserve. Give bettors the information they need to win and provide a community for horse bettors. Because the best way to support the champions of horse racing is to champion horse racing. ExpressBet. We are racing.
We welcome you back. Saturday, Gulfstream today. Sun is out. We are fast and firm. There's no sloppy track blues here in Hallandale Beach. Case and Jason, happy to have you with us. Second half of the show, and it's time now for Saturday's Rainbow Six, which, lo and behold, has just under 400,000 in the kitty.
Nice carryover in there. We'll show you my ticket. I wasn't able to find a single. I went with $51.20. Now, I think in this first leg, Hieroglyphics is going to take a lot of money. I did use him. But I really like the other Pletcher runner in here in Robusto, so I'll use 2 in there.
In Todd we trust.
In Todd we trust. Hopefully he has a good day, and we will too as far as those multis go. 2 in the 7th. I'm going to spread with 4 horses in the 8th race. I think that's a wide open. Just as you were saying, that $25,000 allowance level is a pretty tough group in there. And then I'm going to use 4 horses in the 9th race as well. That's our first stake today in the Musical Romance. Using 2 in the 10th. That's the Christmas Past. 2 in the finale, 51.20 for me.
Don't forget the 20 cents at the end. All
I
right.
know.
Good stuff there, Acacia. We'll have Ron's later coming out of his tough luck $30 consolation. Was alive for a nice 4-figure score. Maybe Saturday's the day. We hope that's the case, and we certainly have fun trying and talking about these races. And you're dealing with a solid open 3-and-up maiden special weight in race number 6, and I love seeing the Pletcher barn leaving quite a big contingent in Palm Beach Downs and in South Florida. And again, strength in numbers as Todd runs Hieroglyphics and the other runner for Calumet in Robusto. Now, Robusto is the one you picked on top, and out of both horses' last out efforts, because they didn't face each other, Robusto, I thought, and that's why we're showing it, has the more intriguing replay to look at. And man, did he finish up once he was able to get off the rail.
He really did, and he's the number 8 that day. And I was mentioning this to you in the commercial. He was a little bit headstrong in the walking ring, and he definitely looked a bit green on track. So I'll be interested to see how he acts today. But you can see him coming up the rail there. He was actually off pretty slowly, a little bit rank. He had to tap on the brakes. It was actually a troubled trip, but then he finished up really strongly, I thought.
Yeah, you see him angle out, and he finishes up like a wild horse. Now, some may say, look, it was a 3-horse photo on the turf. You had a neck and change separating the trifecta horses. Don't like that. Just don't like when horses are clumped up at the finish line. You would think, though, taking, again, I would side with you that he's going to move forward, and we probably just get a more professional racehorse, that he is a very big threat to win this 6th and a must-use in any sort of a multi-race gimmick. Now, you're not really a fan, at least as far as the W goes, with Hieroglyphics, who I think will pull a good trip. This is the one that gets Tyler Gaffleone, and I thought his last race was okay, even though not to, take anything away from the statement I just said. I don't want to contradict myself. He was involved in a 3-horse photo.
He was indeed. So a little bit of that too. And I just have trouble with Hieroglyphics because you look at that last race. Jamal Adjuster set the pace at a big price once again. And then the winner, Cruz Diaz, just totally missed the break, as he always does. He finally managed to get the win last time out. And I actually thought that Hieroglyphics kind of let him win. It looked like he was almost waiting for a horse to come by him, and that's exactly what happened. So that's my reservation with him. I think you have to respect him. As far as his Spire speed figures, he's gone up every time. He's moving in the right direction since that layoff and since trying the turf. I just still have, again, those questions about him.
All right, 2 taps face off. You've got Mike Maker in the mix, who I think the 2 run time's going to run a good race. Second off the layoff, I am encouraged that is, that he's pairing up starts. To the main we go, race number 7, a 3-and-up filly mare, 12-5 maiden claiming race. You can take out the 1 Planet Rock. I had picked that mare by Rock Hard 10 with her out. I scratch into your top selection, which I'm happy about, the 2 engraved. You like her? That gives me even more confidence. And again, this race is crying out for a new face, and you get that with engraved.
It is. Did you single to start the pick 5?
I did not single this horse to start the pick 5, even though she's the new face. I'm also going to use the 6, Federica, who's also returning to the 12-5 maiden claiming ranks. We'll go 2 by 3 by 1 in the 9th. I had a single somewhere. It's kind of a reluctant single with Eva London, and I missed the boat last time at 3.5 to 1. Not happy about that. If we can get her home for Angel Penna, we've got 3 on a 3 for $27. I thought this late pick 5 is a wickedly tough sequence. It really is. But engraved, the new face for you and me in race 7.
It is. Well, it's turning into be one of those kinds of sequences because I think the horse that you singled, I went 4 deep in that race. So we'll see. Maybe Eva London gets home for both of us in there. But engraved in here, I just really think it's the big class drop for this one. She actually even faced the boys in special weight company on the turf a couple starts back. Looking at her only dirt races, they were against much, much tougher. Class drop is key.
All right, we'll pick up the pace as we get on to race number 8. Final 4 begins with this field of 11. Good, solid. You noted it in your Rainbow 6 analysis of 3 and up, other than 25K optional claimers. I am centering my play around 3 horses, 2 of which that faced each other back on the May 10th card. You've got 3 in here who ran on the turf at Gulfstream May 10th. That was a day, and I think sort of a 2 to 3 day period where early speed and pace types were at an advantage. I think speed was carrying, and I thought Terry's Charm and even Blue Harbor, who faced each other, both ran very well from off the pace as they were trying to gain ground, and they just weren't able.
They were, and you can see Blue Harbor there in the black blinkers and the orange silks. Now, he's just a horse that I've always been such a big fan of. Terry's Charm, even wider. I've been chasing Terry's Charm as my long shot for his last few starts. I used him a little bit further down. I actually put him 5th. He didn't make my top 4 today. But
she likes Terry's Charm for 6th or 7th or last.
I'm saying I respect him, and I've been chasing him, and I passed on him today. But I do think that Blue Harbor, as you said, up against it last time, and he just has the back consistency that Terry's Charm doesn't. Now, that being said, I still picked against both of them, and I went with Exaltation, and that's not without questions, but we will show a stat on trainer George Weaver. 3rd off the layoff on the turf, just looking at Gulfstream. It's not a big sample size, but he does exceptionally well.
Wow.
5 for 11 and 8 for 11 in the money. And that ROI, Jason, I was looking to say, were there any like 20 to 1 bombers? And not really. The prices were pretty honest. It's just a big ROI because he's had so much success with this move.
Speaking of success, and look, I am very fond of George Weaver. I've long called him a horse player's best friend for the prices he consistently wins at, and some very good points there with Exaltation. Now, the 9 Hammers Terra completes, for me, the trifecta of those horses that ran on a speed-friendly turf May 10th. He's 2nd off the claim for Mike Maker, and he's just got plenty to like. Battle-hardened veteran who's done some good things, and he's put up some good numbers throughout his career. As I said, an 8-year-old really defines an old pro with 9 wins from 40 starts. You've got Maker here, 2nd off the claim on the turf. I like that. He bats 29% in that move. And again, what really seals the deal, I think a bias compromised trip most recently on May 10th. I will take Hammers Terra in race number 8 as we get on to the stakes portion of this 11-race Saturday at Gulfstream Park. 2 stakes today, and up first, the 3 and up Filly and Mare Florida Breds in the musical Romance, named for a $1.6 million earner who won the 2011 BC Filly and Mare Sprint. She was a good one, and she certainly has a solid namesake today at Gulfstream.
Yes, she does. Lots of wins at Calder and at Gulfstream Park. As you said, 2011 champion female sprinter as well. And I think this is a really nice group in here going this 7 furlongs. And I had a tough time looking at a couple of horses in here. I know that you like Eva London as well. And Angel Penna, a strong 1-2 punch in here with that filly and Ola Charlotte.
Indeed. Now, in the case of Eva London, she's coming out of a daylight victory in her debut for Angel. And we see Amy Tarrant's Hardacre Farm horses being transferred over to Angel. He had a couple wins for that operation last Sunday, and I really like the effort. Don't today like the inside post, and of course she's meeting better, but her last, no matter how you slice it, was clearly a step in the right direction. I'm going to take Eva London, who looked pretty good, I thought, last time out, drawing away and pouring it on beneath C.J. Hernandez. Who do you like in the musical romance?
Well, certainly respect those. I did land on the number 2, Royal Julie, for trainer Gerald Bennett, kind of what we've been saying throughout the show, and runaway victory from Eva London. I agree with you on the post, and I agree that maybe there are some others that have some stronger back class in here versus her. She might just be on the improve, but Royal Julie has a lot of tactical speed. She can pretty much win on anything. She's won on a fast main track, she's won on a wet track, on the synthetic, and on the turf. So she is versatile to a T. And now if you look at her race 2 starts back, which was on the dirt at Tampa, she actually sat off the pace. She's also shown a lot of early speed. So I love this horse coming in and how versatile she is. I did see her on the turf in the Mary Todd, and she's a beautiful looking mare. Just thinking that she might be a little bit of the sneaky in here, but I think she actually is a short price on the morning line.
And she should be, because she's done some good things. An 8-time winner for nearly $200K, and she'll try her luck first time out here today, at least on the dirt, at the G by the sea. All right, let's move on to race number 10. 3-and-up filly mares in this Florida bred Christmas Past stake, $75,000 purse, 1 mile and a 16th on the turf. Jacinto Vasquez riding the old Christmas Past, a foal in 1979 and 14 of her 15 lifetime starts for owner-breeder Cynthia Phipps. Susie B, she's the filly to beat, or mare, I should say. She's done some very good work out of town for Mike Baker.
She has. She ran very well on the yielding turf course at Keeneland last time. I have a little bit of a cautionary stat to show, and that's Mike Baker in the past 5 years on the turf, in the money last time out, looking at non-graded stakes here at Gulfstream. Just 2 for 24, which actually shocked me. I was looking at this stat, expecting it to be a positive one to show, and I think Mike Baker just excellent work at Gulfstream and everywhere. Negative ROI of 38 cents, so a little bit of a cautionary tale in here. She did win the Amelia Island last June. That was her last win, so she's kind of been knocking on the door since then. I think she'll either improve and just outclass the rest of the field, or maybe needs a little bit of a wait-and-see approach.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I wonder if a number of those horses just aren't taking steps forward in those non-graded stakes for whatever the reason at Gulfstream Park. Interesting in that regard. Now, the 6 Kings Ghost has done some good things as well and ran, just 8 days ago. This is a rare, very rare, quick turnaround for trainer Marty Wolfson, who, by the way, over the last 5 years with 1 to 10 starts, 1 to 10 days, I should say, between starts, he's just won for his last 22. Kings Ghost, though, big speed here, right?
Big speed player in here. And looking at notes, her race 2 starts back in the powder break. She was not happy in the walking ring, just not acting professional. And last time out, I was not actually here at Gulfstream for that, but watching her replays, she really put it all together, and she was on the attack 3 wide around the far turn, just very game last time out to be beaten a nose. And I thought now, 3rd time in the barn, she would be one to be moving forward. Marty Wolfson has a couple of strong horses in here. I'm also a fan of Inside Out, just always a horse that I've liked, but I think pace for King's Ghost will be key.
And perhaps she is tracking my long shot second runner, the number 4 Katzadiva. Curious to see what you think of her physically as she tries the turf for the first time for trainer Todd Pletcher. As we wrap things up, all good things come to an end, and we'll do so today. 11 up, 11 down, as the nightcap has a field of 11. 3-and-up, 12-5 maiden claimers, 2 turns, 7.5 on the turf. The number 2, United Del Coco, still has Tyler Gaffleone and has to. Win, lose, or draw, you'll get a better effort out of this second-time starter for Ralph Nix. That is good enough for me in the last.
Yeah, she certainly has to improve off of that last one, but does get class relief. I landed on the 8 Tide of the Desert for Michelle Nihe. Big improvement on the turf last time. Showed a lot more speed, too. Beautiful looking gelding, so we'll see if he can get it done today.
All right, come and get him. Son of Biandetti, who's got Miguel Vasquez, as we, of course, take a little breather. We'll catch up with Ron Nicoletti. We hope you stay tuned all day with us here at beautiful Gulfstream Park. And without further ado, Pete Aiello coming up next, the voice of Gulfstream, with Saturday's Scratches and Changes.